This week, there's been quite the controversy surrounding conservative commentator by the name of Steven Crowder. He is an alleged comedian who uses his platform of 4.4 million people on YouTube and has used it over the last 2 years to target one specific employee of Vox.com by the name of Carlos Maza. Take a look at a snippet of this content.
You're being given a free pass as a crappy writer because you're gay.
That center line on his little queer graph there. What is
well,
that
now
line?
the graph is queer?
Violence, filth.
Okay, so the little queer could eat his chips all nonchalantly. It's code for rape, Mr. Queer eating chips on the Vox channel. Chip, 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 but you can eat just one. Like dicks. This is what Mr. Gay Vox wants to do. Mr. Let's Be Queer from Vox. What were you holding, Gay Latino from Vox?
This controversy has mushroomed into something extremely big that involves questions of the First Amendment, censorship, and terms of service agreements with Silicon Valley companies like YouTube. However, I want to focus in on the disingenuousness of one particular conservative commentator who decided to wade into this conversation by the name of Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is allegedly the brightest mind on the right, but I want you to take a listen to this disingenuous argument.
Well, he referred to Carlos Maza as a queer. Okay, so the reason that I'm saying the word is because I'm not sure exactly what the context is for when this is appropriate. Like Carlos Maza calls himself queer, but if Steven Crowder says the word queer, then it's obviously some sort of insult according to Carlos Maza. So I'm not sure what the rules are because the rules change every 5 seconds.
Shapiro is trying to come to the rescue of his conservative comrade Steven Crowder by stripping away all of the context and all of the intent of something that was obviously meant to be used as a slur.
Okay, so the little queer could eat his chips all nonchalantly.
I'm not sure exactly what the context is for when this is appropriate. Like Carlos Maza calls himself queer, but if Steven Crowder says the word queer, then it's obviously some sort of insult according to Carlos.
So according to Ben Shapiro, there's no such thing as context or intent, even though he has a law degree from Harvard University, Harvard Law School, which I'm sure he took a course on intent. Clearly, Ben Shapiro is playing a game of sophistry here, sophistry, where you use fallacious arguments, especially with the intention of deceiving. More specifically, Ben Shapiro is using his platform to provide cover for Steven Crowder because he clearly intended to use the word queer as an insult and not as an identifier. And Ben Shapiro knows that there's a difference between using a word as an identifier and using the word as an insult, because I can simply identify Ben Shapiro as being a Jew, but if I use a certain inflection in my voice, or if I use it in a certain context, or like Steven Crowder, put a specific adjective in front of the word Jew, I would quickly be labeled by Ben Shapiro and so many others as anti-Semitic. So Ben Shapiro knows exactly what the hell is going on here. But this is the disingenuousness of conservatives. This is the disingenuousness of Ben Shapiro. This is the sophistry. This is the demagoguery of the right.
If says the word queer, then it's obviously some sort of insult according to Carlos Maza. So I'm not sure what the rules are because the rules change every 5 seconds.
I don't know, Ben. Maybe Harvard University wanted you to use your legal education like this, to engage dishonestly in the national debate, stripping away context and intent from language, as if you don't know the difference between using words as identifiers and then using those same exact words as a means of slurring someone. Maybe that's exactly what getting a Harvard education is all about. But for the rest of us in the real world, we understand if anyone dared put a malicious inflection before your personal identifier, you would quickly and correctly identify them as anti-Semitic. But like people in power always do, you strip that complexity of thought away from the marginalized and only provide it for those in power. From one Ben to another, you're going to have to try a lot harder than that next time.